how's it going, everybody? It is Josh here from TheBitBlock, and I wanted to pop in really quick now that it is pretty much middle of the day on Sunday, and the Splatoon 2 test fires are almost done. I think there might be like one more or something. I thought I'd do a video where I kind of talked about what I personally feel was the good and the bad of Splatoon 2 based on that test fire. Now, I do want to say, obviously, this is not a review for the game. I do not know what the final game is going to be like, so we'll have to wait and see. It's coming out in the summer, so that's when I will actually review the game. This is just me talking about some of the things that I liked and didn't like about playing the test fire for Splatoon 2. So I'm just going to get right into it. This is a good and bad type of thing, so maybe I'll kind of jump back and forth so it doesn't seem like I'm always talking about what I didn't like or I'm always talking about what I liked. Anyways, let's get into it. The game's really similar to the original game, like very, very, very similar to the original Splatoon, with very minimal upgrades or very minimal amounts of new ideas. Now, this could just be the test fire, and I'm hoping that's the case, but playing the test fire, I did not get the feeling like I was playing a new game. I felt like I was playing two new levels for the original Splatoon. The visuals did not seem upgraded at all. And just the gameplay felt the same. I will say that, though, excuse me, they did a really good job taking the controls from the original Splatoon and putting them on the Switch. It controls really good. I was impressed with how the controls were working. Even the motion control felt pretty good, pretty similar to the Wii U. I prefer to play with motion control because I feel like you have an advantage, to have that in assist with your aim. But the biggest thing that I thought would be a little bit problematic is the map. Of course, in the original Splatoon, you would look down at the gamepad screen to see the map. And that was very handy because you could see like what areas you need to go paint or if you're losing, winning, whatever. So it was a nice bit of strategy to keep an eye on that map. And now you open up the map simply by pressing the X button, which I thought was a little bit weird to get used to at first, but by the end of this test fire, I was pretty much used to it. I like the fact that you press X and then you actually tilt the controller to move a cursor, and then you lock on to one of your fellow squids, and then you can launch over to them that way. I think the motion control in that works really well, being able to just tilt to get over to somebody. And once you got the hang of that, I think it was like kind of second nature, and you could do it really quick. So that was pretty good. I like that. One of the things that I noticed is I didn't like how loud the sound effects were. I like Splatoon's music a lot, and it sounds like this game has some pretty cool music, just like the first game. But is it just me, or does it sound like the sound effects are really overshadowing the music? I hope there's a way to turn down the sound effects in the game, because it made it really difficult to even hear what the music was like. All the and the blah and the blah and all this. The sound effects are just, I want them to be toned down, So I thought that was a little bit strange. Like, it was very difficult to hear the music on my end. Maybe it was just me. I don't know. I think they need to tone down the sound effect volume and boost up that music volume, because the music is pretty good. I also like some of the minor interface changes they made, some of the little animations. I like the fact that they have the weapons displayed in kind of a packaging, as if you're buying them from a store, where it has like the little hook on top and all that. I think that's cute. I like the way they have that in the menus. A little bit of a strange thing to point out, but I also liked the loading animation. There's like a little loading animation going on, and it was really well animated. Looked very Nickelodeon, looked very 90s Nickelodeon, so I thought that was pretty cool. Interface seems like they upgraded it just minimally, and I think it works pretty well. I really liked some of the new sub-weapons and power-ups. I like the jetpack, which is basically just Flood. It's pretty amazing. You just feel like you're playing Mario Sunshine, in reverse, though, because you're making things messy. I thought that was really cool. I like how when you're done using that, when your time is up, it blasts you into the air, and then you land where you originally started it. I thought that was a really cool idea, the way it brings you back to where you activated it. I think that just felt right. That was a really good decision on their part, to where, as opposed to just like landing where you are. That's probably so that you don't like use it to get over to their base or something in an area that you can't be in. But nevertheless, seemed good. Some of the, I also liked this, I think it was a sub-weapon, or no, it was a special, to where you had like this big beam of ink that you were spraying. It was kind of like a Ghostbuster weapon. It was like a proton pack where you're just like, that was pretty cool as well. I like that. Seemed like a much better version of that shockwave thing from the original game. So yeah, I like some of the new sub-weapons and power-ups. Those seemed pretty cool. Thumbs up for that. The Splat Dualies are pretty darn great. Splat Dualies might be my default weapon. That's all I really played with in the test fire. After I had kind of tried all of them, I went back to the Splat Dualies. Those are amazing. One of the things I want to say, though, is using the Splat Dualies, you can perform a dodge move, and I feel like that's stupid. The dodge move should just be something that is built into the gameplay. It should be like, and the Inklings are even upgrading. You know, the Inklings have some new moves that they can do this time around that they learned. So I think everybody should be able to dodge. I don't know why that is just for picking a certain weapon. Doesn't really make sense. But it's cool to dodge. I like that. It's obviously something that's really helpful. So again, like, why is that not just a default thing, Nintendo? I don't get that. There are some things I didn't like. The level design, I have to say, is pretty terrible. I really, really thought... At first, when I started playing, I was like, oh, these levels are okay. But the more I started to kind of look at them, the more I realized these are actually... I would go as far as saying that the levels in Splatoon 2, these two, I should say, not all of them, I haven't seen all of them, but the two for the test fire were small, they were barely themed, they didn't have like a very strong theming, and essentially they felt like they were just automatically generated. There wasn't personality going on there. It just felt like a bunch of boxes. All the architecture in those levels felt very boxy. It seemed like, oh hey, in Splatoon 2, the levels automatically generate, so you never know what the shape's gonna be. Of course, that's not the case, but that's the vibe I got from these levels. Like, there was the reef, which is, I don't even know what the reef was supposed to be. What was the theme of that? I played it many times, I couldn't tell. There was like a car, and maybe like a car wash, maybe? Was there a car wash? I don't remember. When I close my eyes, I cannot picture what these levels look like, and I played them probably about, I don't know, 30 times each? So that's a problem. Level design is seemingly very poor. Like, I don't even think they were like, I think they were blah. So, yeah. One of them is like, what was it, Muscle Forge something? And it was supposed to be like an outdoor gym. But again, like, it didn't really have that theme very well. Like, I don't know, it just didn't seem like there was a theme going on. This is a problem that I started to have with the original Splatoon, as it kept introducing levels. I think the original Splatoon, after about the first 8 stages, there started to be this problem where a lot of them were really, really bland. They didn't have a very good theme, and essentially they just felt like a bunch of boxy architecture. Very forgettable, and yeah, so I don't know. I would think that the 2 levels they picked for the test fire are 2 levels that they think are some of the best, so that scares me a little bit, but maybe not, I don't know. But yeah, level design was really poopy. I did not like those levels at all. Bland, bland, bland. But I think that's pretty much all I have to say. You know, there's a lot of stuff that I like. I'm excited about Splatoon 2. There's a lot of stuff in that test fire that I just thought was like really not interesting to me. I mean, it feels very similar to the first game based on that, and visually it's not really improved at all. Like, they didn't improve things. I think there is some room for improvement in certain elements. And yeah, I mean, it really needs to, in the final game, differentiate itself more from the original game. So some of the things I'd like to see in the final game, I figured I'd tack this on here. I would like to see a way better level selection. The way that the first game was set up was horrible. The way that you had to be like, oh, these are the 2 levels that are being played right now for this mode for the next 2 hours or whatever. Boo! That sucks. Nobody likes that. Nobody in their right mind liked that. I even had little cousins who really got into playing Splatoon. They would come over and play Splatoon, and even they were like, why do I keep playing the same level? I hate this level. You need to give us the option. Like Mario Kart. When you play Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Online, you've got like the choice of 5 stages or so that you can pick from, and it keeps randomizing. Do that with Splatoon. We don't need that stupid setup with Callie and Marie telling us which levels are currently available. That's very not user-friendly. Don't do that again. Don't do that. So yeah, I want to see that improved. Make a much better level selection for playing online. I also want to say that I'd like to see some new ink colors, even though I don't think we will. I think that there is room for some different ink colors. I think that would make it feel a little bit fresh. I'd like to see a black and white ink. I know that the white ink would look very naughty, but that's why I want to see it. No, I don't know. Just some new ink colors would be cool, I feel. So maybe we'll see that, but I don't think we will. I'd like an improved story mode, but I think we are getting that based on some of the stuff we've seen so far. It seems like there is a story mode. I hope it's really fun to play. I hope they really advance what they did in the first game. I hope it's not just like, hey, here's more of what you did in the first game. So we'll see what the story mode ends up being, but I think that should be an important part of this game. You know, some one-player content. I'd like to see better local multiplayer. I don't think we're going to really get that. I mean, like, split screen. Like, I don't think there's going to be split screen multiplayer here, which is a bit of a bummer. I think it's because the Switch just can't handle running that engine 4 times. So, at very least, we can play local multiplayer via the local connections of a Switch. Only bummer there is you need a bunch of Switch systems in order to do that. So, not exactly ideal. But yeah, I don't know. I'd like to see some new, like a challenge mode for 1 or 2 players would be really cool. So more multiplayer stuff that you can play locally that feels really, really good, really fun stuff to do. So yeah, I think overall, those are kind of my impressions of Splatoon 2's test fire. Keep in mind, this was not a review. This is just me talking about that single test fire, you know, this weekend. The final game I'm really interested in. I hope it turns out really well. Like I said, I want it to feel different from the original game. This is a sequel, therefore it's okay if it brings over elements from the previous game, but you do need to do a lot of stuff to make it feel fresh, stay fresh, and make it feel like it's worth spending another 50, 60 bucks on. So, especially when you consider that this game, you're gonna need to pay to play online, which is a bit of a bummer because most people who play Splatoon play it online. So this game is like even more expensive than the first game. So we need to see it much, much improved from that first game. Also, finally, I do want to end on this. It better launch with a lot of content. The first game is kind of famous for having very minimal amounts of content, and then they kind of slowly trickled it out as the months went on. I hated that about the original game. It did not make me want to play the game for a longer period of time, and it actually is responsible for probably killing my interest in playing the game. I like it to be a finished product that I get right off the bat, and then later on you add like paid DLC, like 8 to 10 months later or so, or like a year later. You do paid DLC, here's 10 bucks, you get another 5 whatever levels and stuff like that. But it better launch with more than like 5 stages. I think this game needs to launch with like at least 8 to 10 stages, if not more. So we'll see how that goes. It needs to launch with a whole bunch of weapons. Do not do that soft launch bull crap that you did with the original game. If a game is great and really fun to play, you will play it for a long period of time, no matter what. I still play Pikmin 2. I still play Kirby Air Ride. I still pop in Super Mario World. I still play GoldenEye 007 on the Wii. Great games are replayable. Smash Brothers. Great games are replayable forever, okay? Don't give me any of this bull crap about how if they gave us too much content at first, we'd get bored of it quick. Bull crap. All right, guys, those are my impressions with Splatoon 2's test fire. Be sure to keep it locked right here to the BitBlock for a lot more on Splatoon 2 as we get closer to release, and of course, all things Nintendo Switch. I love you. I'll see you later.